Okay, you are live, ladies.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy Monday.
But going from a 25-foot tree and that's all that happened,
That's good.
especially when a lot of it was over the house. And I have little wall around the whole yard.
As you see, Janice is sitting in for Jen today.
She got to escape and go see a Diamondback game.
No, she went and watched Suns. The last Suns game.
Oh, I thought they went to baseball.
Diamondbacks, she would have had to gone to St. Louis to watch that.
Good. She might have some perks.
Yeah. It was cold, I know that.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I know. It was funny because I was watching after game interviews and Peralta's like, I'm a little cold. You can come sit. You can come have a seat. You're not till 9:15, but if you want to sit, you're more than welcome.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I remember seeing. I was up in Taylor Snowflake when actually I think I might have been on my way in the car.
When Jen messaged you?
Yeah, and I got okay, and I thought it was 9:15.
It is, but you can have we're going to start right now. Janice and I are going to talk a little bit, and then we'll bring you on in.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got something benefiting pets, and I know how
Hey, we like
you
pets.
folks are about pets.
You ready, Janice?
I am.
Good morning and welcome to Today in Yuma. I am Teresa.
And I'm Janice, filling in for Jennifer today.
That's right. Jennifer is out. She got to go enjoy the last Suns game yesterday. So she's got the day off. She'll be traveling back. And I'm glad she's coming back today because there was a big accident yesterday on I-8. So she wasn't on the road for that and she will be back tomorrow.
I'm surprised she didn't get like a million alerts. Like, what's going on, Jen? What's doing this? And she's
Oh,
like
she
trying
did.
to watch basketball.
Well, thankfully, it wasn't during the basketball game that it happened. So she was getting her alerts like always, and she was in true Jen style. She was definitely keeping the community aware of what was going on. And like I said, thankfully she wasn't in it. I don't have all of the details yet. I don't even think they're all out yet, but I know that it took quite a while to clean up. So she did have a little bit of a late night, but that's what Jen does.
Well, and yesterday over here, because I live on Avenue B too, there was a power outage in certain areas, and everyone was like, well, ask and go what's going on, see what's going on. I said, she's busy, she's out of town. I have power in my block, so we're good.
She does take a day off, but she does what she can as far as keeping us aware through social media. One of the apps that you can use for when you have those APS outages is the APS app itself, or you can follow them on Twitter. And I've used it multiple times, just kind of put the area out there, and they usually give you the estimated time, or try and give you as much detail as they can. So.
But people out there are like your kids. Your kids ask you a question when they could just look it up on their phone and find it out themselves.
Exactly.
But they ask you the question, so everybody's just like, what's going on?
Exactly. So hopefully everybody was out enjoying the last day of the fair. I know I was. Fair weekend was just, to me, it's a lot of fun. It's something that we look forward to every year. And Eli still has another year before he can do an animal, but it was really awesome to see all the kids yesterday finishing up their last day, and all the moms just saying, yes, finally, we made it through and it's done.
No more need for allergy medicine.
No, and you know what? When they're moving those animals on Sunday, it's really kicking up. But you know what? I normally don't go on a Sunday. Sunday is my day for a karate class, but I normally don't go on Sundays just because we've been every single day, of the week.
Working up to it.
Working up to it. So usually, we're there pretty late on Saturday night. But we wanted to go watch Metalachi yesterday.
Oh, I know, because in the meetings and stuff, when we were setting up and talking about what the schedule is going to be and doing the spots, he really has tried hard the last couple of years to try to get them, because it is an amazing show that they put on.
Oh, they put on a fantastic show. I'm glad that we went out there and we made it. They were a lot of fun, and they were really, really good.
I mean, you wouldn't think, let's combine heavy metal and mariachis.
It works perfectly for them, and they dress the part. the violinist, was awesome. She rocked that stage, man. It was so awesome to see. And they did like the second half of their set later on in the evening. We were already helping and trying to get out of there with the animals and things, but so we missed the second part, but we did catch the first part, and it was fantastic. I hope they come back again.
I hope I get to see them, because you can tell by my burned face and shoulders. I was busy in my front yard. We were tackling our 25-foot eucalyptus tree. Mm-hmm. I want it gone. It's so messy. It's horrible. I hate it. Yeah. And so a great set of friends really put in some time yesterday with us and all our kids and stripping stuff down. But we were out in the sun forever. I really would have probably liked to have been at the fair instead. But
it was a little warm out there too. But it was worth it because you had all the fair food. I did eat half of a cinnamon roll yesterday. Got my fix of fair food, so I'm good till next year, I think. One of the things that we had going on out at the fair is we had our banner up.
Yes.
And we had a selfie contest. Basically just go and take your selfie with the banner and post it on our page. And we had quite a few people out there doing it. And every time I was seeing somebody standing by it, or we were out there, hey, did you take your selfie yet? Did you take your selfie yet?
It was a couple of amazing prizes that they could get.
A couple. We had... It's a $95 free pest control service from Advocate Pest and Wildlife Services, $25 to downtown, 251 downtown Twisted Kitchen, $25 to Routines, $25 to Oriental House, $50 Lotus Day Spa and Salon gift certificate.
Jennifer did some photography stuff,
and then FanQuest goodies too.
Goodies.
So we had quite a few entries, and we picked 2 winners.
Yeah.
And we have the winners right here. One of them is Alicia Valenzuela. I want to thank you for posting your selfie, and you are one of our big prize pack winners for your selfie. And also Lily Leonaris. She is one of the winners as well.
And both of them are not going to have to cook much this week.
No, they're not. Not at all. So congratulations, and thank you everybody who took the time out to get out there and take their selfie. And you know what? I think everything went great with all of the upgrades that they have done. I was super happy with it.
And I'm glad everybody participated. It's fun just to do some really spur-of-the-moment contests that we didn't even think of till I'm like bungeeing up the sign, and then I'm like, hey, how about we do this?
Yeah.
And it's good to see that involvement. It's good to see that people can just get out and it's simple fun, yet they still recognize.
Yeah, definitely. Even when we were taking selfies on Saturday night, Eric Walford from the Yuma County Fairgrounds even jumped in and got in the photobombed the selfie too. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
By the end of the week, he was probably stir crazy. Like,
hey, he's still going. He said he has a whole nother week of work before they're getting ready for another event there.
Prison Run, I think.
Yeah, one more, and then he could take a little break before they start planning for next year. So we hope all of you had fun, and congratulations to all the 4-H and FFA kids who got all their animals done and sent off. And some of them, like I know the dairy goats are all going home to for a little break before they start getting ready as well. So
everybody can enjoy them. Boy, now the meat place is going to be busy.
Janice,
sorry, it's a fact of life.
That's a tender subject. Okay,
but I have to say, a couple years ago, I did half a pig at one of the auctions, and that was probably the best pork that I've ever had. It hardly had any fat. It was just so good. It was the best meat.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
I've never purchased an animal yet, but I would love to do so in the future.
Maybe we'll have to partner up.
All right. Well, today is Monday, April 9th, and we want to get to our birthdays. Did you have our little birthday drawing too,
I do.
right?
I put all the names in it, folded all the little names, all the winners. Look, there's a lot in there.
There is. So we do our Firehouse subs birthday shout-outs every week, and every Monday we draw from the week prior, and everybody who is entered... the birthdays that were that week are entered into a little pot, and you actually, we do a drawing for a free medium sub, drink, dessert,
sandwich,
chips.
I mean, it's a whole
lunch.
meal.
Exactly. So you want to do the drawing right now for last week's birthdays?
We'll have Anita pick.
She's got her eyes closed.
I cut up the names and folded them, so I want it to be fair.
All right.
Edmore
Orozco. Oh, he's a friend of mine, so I'm sure he'll be super happy to get a free lunch for that. So, Edmar, you get your free lunch courtesy of Firehouse Subs. Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, saving lives through donation grants. Donated funds are used to provide free equipment, training, and support for our hometown heroes. We have one in the studio right now. Mike will be on here shortly.
And if you guys have any birthdays, just go on to monstermediayuma.com, look on the Today in Yuma tab, and look for the little Firehouse birthday little logo, and then you can enter who you want to put on there.
Yeah, real quick, we have a birthday off of our Facebook Live feed, our FTS Automotive Facebook Live feed. Christy Laronia, she says, happy late birthday to my sis, Trish Laronia. Her birthday was this past Saturday. They had a lot of fun out at the fair.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And we have some birthdays today. One is a very special birthday of mine. My father-in-law, Papa Mike Straub, he is celebrating his birthday today.
Oh, congratulations.
And we have Loma Clark, Susan Vernis, Jennifer Espinosa, and Governor Doug Ducey is celebrating his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Gov.
And I like that.
Like he's a friend and goes to barbecues at my house or something.
Do you hang out with him?
All the time.
We have some celebrity birthdays as well.
We have Kristen Stewart, Hugh Hefner, and Cynthia Nixon.
Well, happy birthday to all of you. So, not only is it, we have these awesome birthdays today, but we have some really cool national days as well.
National Cherish and Antique Day. Oh, I feel special. Oh, was that... Oh, no, not people who are
I'm sure
50.
it's like antique furniture or something.
I think at 50, you're kind of antique.
Do you have any antiques?
I do. We have like a side table that I think I remember when I was a kid, it was like 100 years old, so we still have it.
And is it like something that you've passed down in the family, or?
It was my mom's, and then she gave it to me, and I painted it. I think the first time I painted it, she got really upset because it was antique, but I think it's been like 6 different colors.
Oh, goodness.
It is what it is.
I don't think I own anything as far as antiques. I know growing up, there was a couple pieces that have been passed down in the family. I remember a sewing machine. I don't have it, but...
My mom has a desk still.
A desk.
And I remember that as a kid, and she still
has it.
has
I like
it.
the old sewing desk. The ones with the sewing machine. My mother-in-law has one. Do you have one?
I do.
Anita has one too. So, well, not only is it National Cherish and Antique Day, but it's also National Chinese Almond Cookie Day.
I like those.
I don't know that I've ever had one.
Really? They're round, and they have the little almond pressed in the middle. A lot of restaurants have got away from them and just go to fortune cookies, but they have a total different taste, and the cookie has a little like amaretto almondy taste too. But they're really good.
I don't think I've ever had one. Well, it's also National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day.
Well, that's a major salute to you, because not only did you serve our country, but you went through a lot of bad times to be a war.
Exactly.
Prisoner of war, so thank you very much.
National Name Yourself Day.
Ooh.
I like my name.
Can I change my name?
I guess we could change it. You never had, like, when you were single or younger and stuff, like, you'd go out and just have a fake name?
No, me either.
Because I have Teresa, of course, is my given name, but a lot of people know me as Terry as well. So it just... I don't know.
Oh, and you're also from a city that everybody knew you.
Exactly.
I grew up in Yuma, so...
Did you change your name?
I did. Sometimes I go out, my going out name was always Sophia.
Sophia?
Yeah, it was a good Greek name, and then, they'd be like, hi, Sophia. I'm like, later down, well, oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. So, I'm going to call you Sophia the rest of the day. And it's also National Winston Churchill Day. I don't have any facts about Winston Churchill.
Oh my goodness, Teresa.
Do you, Anita?
He was implemental.
Here, go ahead. Anita's going to give us our history lesson. She's going to give us our history lesson.
School us not only in history, but right now because you didn't know the answer.
No, I'm just going to brief overview. He was instrumental in helping combat war and getting England involved in changing the course of the war, of World War II. He was instrumental. He was very good at helping people understand the impact that the layperson could have on the war, and also very instrumental in getting the United States involved in the war prior to.
Well, there we go. I'm glad that we have a former teacher in the room. She knows a lot about things.
But he was one of the first prime ministers of Great Britain that really worked in conjunction really closely with the Queen to help make the changes that needed to occur. So he was prime minister of
There's your
Great
Winston
Britain.
Churchill history. There was a lot of things.
Oh, the king. I'm sorry, the king. Before the Queen became the Queen.
There you go. Well,
My apologies.
there was a lot of things going on. Not only did we have the Yuma County Fair going on, but we also had the opening of Candyland over at the Joe Henry Optimus Center. I wasn't able to get out there and enjoy it, but it's open to the public now, and I love what they've done to that center because it's been there since I can remember growing up, and I know that speaking with Debbie Went, Director of Parks and Rec, she has people that are in the organization that were kids and they were in the organization coming up, and now their kids are so it's really kind of a family tradition when you get to go through all those different programs. So they opened Candyland, and it's open to the public. You do the game on the outside sidewalk, and the Leah Littlewood did an awesome mural, Candyland mural on the side of the building. But they have one more thing coming up this Wednesday we wanted to let the community know about. They actually are going to be doing the grand opening of the basketball gym that's in there.
Excellent.
They have
Nice.
a brand new
floor.
floor in there, and they'll be doing that this Wednesday, and it's open to the public to actually go out and enjoy. So we want to let everybody know this Wednesday. I'll have to look up the time. I believe it's around 10, but I don't quote me on that. But they are going to be doing, and they have an air conditioner.
I say it's the first season
This
that
is the
it's going to be
first time they're
climate
going to be
controlled.
able to have it open all the way through the summer, because before there was never an air conditioner.
Exactly.
in there.
So you can continue that good health and physical activity of kids getting out and playing and not be, dying of heat exhaustion.
Exactly. All right, it's time for us to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with Mike Erfert from the Yuma Fire Department, and then after Mike, we also are going to have Sergeant Lori Franklin in as well. So I love these days where we get a lot of information, and we want to remind you that our show is brought to you by
Classic Accounting for all your tax needs. You guys only have a little bit more time to do it, so get over there and do it. I know they did mine and my kids' taxes, so I totally support their services there.
And also Sprague Sports. That blue ribbon sale is continuing. They have special buys on rifles, handguns, and much more. All guns come with a lifetime warranty and a free range pass. You can find them on 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
And Quick Refrigeration, a family owned and operated. They've been in the heating and cooling in Yuma since 1955. Visit QuickCool.com. GetQuickCool.com.
Hey, let's try it again. Get Cool Quick.
GetQuickCool.com.
There you go. You know what?
Dyslexia Monday.
I actually used their services at the fair. They had a nice air conditioning in the commercial building, and after walking around Saturday, I went and stood in that for just a little bit to try and cool off. It
And
was
if
awfully
you're in that
nice.
big metal building where you're like slow cooking the whole day, that's a true test on what their products can do.
Also, our friends over at Advocate Pest and Wildlife Services. They are locally owned and have been providing pest control services in the Yuma area for over 20 years. You can give them a call at 928-343-9149. Message them on Facebook, Instagram, or follow them on Snapchat. We'll be back with Mike Erfert right after this. Hello.
Howdy.
You ready?
I think so.
All right. Good morning, Lisa. Go ahead. Saying hi to Facebook.
He was going to say some fact or something.
Oh no, I've got there's a couple of events that we have coming up. One, the Desert Veterinary Clinic is doing a fundraiser at Lutz Casino on Thursday, and they're raising funds to supply oxygen masks that can be used for animals to the different fire departments in our community. So that's going on Thursday, and then Cinco de Mayo we've got the fire muster coming up, which is it's here in Yuma this time. It's on Main Street, and kind of old time fire department competitions.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it
Cool.
usually draws a big crowd and a lot of fun. We even have a splash zone.
Are they going to spray us with the hose?
Not intentionally. But there will be a splash zone because they do the barrel squirts and bucket brigades and stuff like that. Which, it's May.
it will be.
It's
Well
likely gonna be-
appreciated.
Yes, much appreciated.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got that, and then Jennifer mentioned summertime
Yeah.
safety
Safety.
stuff. So on one side, we've got the heat things coming up, the heat illness precautions, and then also water safety.
I would say water safety because I know that you guys have already had rescues down at the river.
Yeah.
We were down there that day. I had a lunch meeting with Casey at 2:51, and we were going out into our car to leave, and the fire trucks right through that back street, and we were like, wow, why are they going so fast? And that's what they were going to work on.
All right, we have about 1 minute, 20 seconds.
Yeah, interesting point on with Churchill. Was nobody was really excited about him. They didn't like
Right.
him. He was kind of a compromise, and it looked like after a while because he was upsetting people, and especially with his stance that you couldn't compromise with Hitler, and then finally, it kind of came down to with talking to the king, and you're not everybody's choice, but Hitler hates you.
Yeah.
So that works for me.
Right.
He had that on his side.
Because it came very close to Britain surrendering.
Very
It sort of
close.
changed the world.
The French were allies at the time, and it was challenging.
Yeah, because they were getting us in a channel that we would come out. They had set up submarines and stuff below it, so they were just wiping them out as they came in.
As I say, pull it right on up there.
There we go. I've been here before.
You know the drill.
First time I saw one of those masks was in a movie, and they were diving in, and they had a dog with them in the security team, and they put a mask on the dog, and he was on a backpack that when the guy parachuted out, the military guy, the dog was on him.
That sounds
And it
good.
had a mask, and it was like a little mouth. It looked really cool.
Movies, huh?
Yeah.
And
That sounds like
Glorification of
Navy
movies.
All right, we're ready? Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Teresa.
And I'm Janice.
That's right, Foodylicious Janice is sitting in for Jennifer Blackwell today. Jennifer has the day off, but she will be back tomorrow morning. Right now in the studio, we have Mike Erfert from the Yuma Fire Department. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome back. I think it's time to have you in. You guys have lots of things going on over at the Yuma Fire Department.
Well, all the time.
Fundraisers, fun things.
Yeah, there's no slow season. We're always have our safety messages out there. But yeah, there are some fun and interesting things coming up too.
Real quick, I want to. You have a shout out on our Facebook Live feed. Robbie Rodriguez says, "Hi, Mike Erfert."
Howdy.
Well, let's talk about the fun stuff first, and then we'll get into summer safety. You have a fundraiser coming up.
Well, actually, it's Desert Veterinary Clinic is doing a fundraiser at Lude's Casino. That's this Thursday, April 12th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And what they're raising funds for is to supply the pet-friendly oxygen masks for emergency response. Every once in a while, you'll have a situation where you've got an animal that in need of just that extra little bit of help with breathing, and human masks
Don't really
not
cut it.
so good a fit on a muzzle. So that's something that they do make them specifically for pets in different sizes, and that's something that they're doing. They're raising funds for that, and it's to benefit fire departments here in our Yuma community, not just YFD, but the others. They want to spread that opportunity to help those pets as best we can. Usually the guys will try to
Do what
fit
they
them
can,
as
yeah.
good as they can, but something that's actually designed for a pet, that's certainly much more effective.
Oh, most definitely. I love that a locally owned business like this is doing what they can to actually go out and help our firefighters right here in the Yuma community. Help our firefighters do their job a little bit better. If you can do it and go the extra mile to save a pet, that a lot of people that's their child.
Well,
That's
and
a
you don't.
family
And
member.
I wouldn't have even thought about that. because I'm not in an industry that deals with pets, so I wouldn't have even thought about the mask and so forth. I mean, I do at my house, I have the sticker on the window so I could tell you how many dogs I have and, generally where they are, so that way if they have a fire they can know what else is in the building besides your children. And I do that, but I would have never ever thought about the mask, and that is super inventive. So they just carry them around in their in the fire trucks and stuff just for availability?
It would be something available. It depends on, it's something that maybe not every unit would have, but probably one of those on the scene in a fire, at least one would have them available. So it's kind of a neat idea. It's something, I don't know how long they've been around. We actually have some in service, but it's great, as you said, for a local community organization to hop in there,
see the need and help fulfill it.
Yeah, and we know this show is particularly pet friendly.
Not
just on Friday.
No, not just on Friday. We love all pets around here. So Jennifer's the crazy cat lady, of course, and I like dogs, but I feed her. I guess I feed the crazy cat lady a little bit. So.
Well, you don't see them like around in here, except for Friday on the shirts.
Exactly. Well, again, that's Desert Veterinary Clinic that's doing that fundraiser at Luke's Casino on Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. 10% of the sales will go to help achieve their goal.
Perfect.
So, now really fun. On Cinco de Mayo, for those that aren't familiar, who doesn't know Cinco de Mayo?
Cinco de Mayo. You could just refer to it as Cinco de Mayo.
May 5th, we're having a fire muster down on Yuma Main Street. And for those that, it's sponsored by the United Yuma Firefighters Association. And for those that aren't aware, it's an opportunity for different groups of fire organizations, sometimes even not, just that you have a team together. They compete in different kind of old-timey types of fire department.
It's really, really cool. I remember, I think I've seen one when they did it back on Gila Street behind, down in Old Yuma, where now it's the Armed Forces Park, but right there, I remember watching one there, and I don't know if it was necessarily a muster, but it was definitely some kind of demonstration, because it was water everywhere, but it was really cool to see, as fast as they can, pulling out those hoses and rolling them up and spraying them and all that kind of stuff, and it was really neat to see.
Yeah, you won't see the modern equipment. I mean, they use the hand carts for the hoses. They have a team one, which is kind of like a reverse tug of war, where they use the fire hoses to move a barrel that's on a wire. There will be a splash zone.
I'll say that with that there is a splash zone, and you could get wet.
On May 5th, though, you probably will appreciate the splash zone. Just keep your electronic equipment out from that area. But Bucket Brigade, those things that once upon a time, 100 years, 120, 30 years ago, down on Main Street, that was what you saw.
That's how you effectively put out fires.
So, you go to our website, you'll see some of those pictures from the old days on there.
Who is going to be participating in this? Are they just local firefighters, or do you guys have a competition going on?
It depends. It's whoever registers. So you've got the local teams, and that's anybody that's signing up between now and May 5th. I don't know right now where they're at, but there are times that you get teams from other fire agencies from around the state, and maybe even into California that'll come over and come down for that. It's a lot of fun. It's a great family activity, and it'll be going on from 8 a.m. starting at 8, and it goes till 5 or till all the activities have done.
Okay.
So that morning time will be particularly fun.
That's a full day of a competition, really.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's everybody by the end of the day, you can tell that they've been through the ringer on that. A lot of fun, a lot of work, and for the organizers, I'm sure when they're done, they're going to be done. So it's a free event as far as attending. Just be down on Main Street during that time. For any teams it's been spread through our area, so I think those that might participate already know about that. But for more information, they can contact David Padilla Jr., and his number is 287 3632.
Perfect.
And that'll, if you have more information about that.
All right.
So those are cool, fun things
Yes.
where help the community. But another way to help the community is being aware of some of the hazards that are coming up.
Yes, and we've experienced some pretty high temperatures already. I know that this weekend, I mean, you can tell Janice got some sun. She was out in the heat, but she did what she was supposed to. She stayed hydrated. So it's that time of year. It's getting hot, and yes, I'm saying hot now because the jar's not out yet.
And we did get overheated, so we were like, we're in the pool.
Yeah, and this is that time of year that in some ways can be even more dangerous because as humans, we know that we're pretty heat resistant, at least by the time it gets to June, July. But we've had that chance to kind of ramp up as time goes by. Well, we do have to let our bodies get acclimated, especially if we're in outdoor professions, and just understand we've been through the winter months. Your fluid intake kind of drops down. We don't have the constant intake of fluids, and so we need to start building that up again. Not just drinking when you're thirsty, but keeping that constant intake of, and especially water.
Yeah.
That's when we say keep your fluids up. We don't mean actually alcoholic beverages and heavily sugared or heavily caffeinated.
Those don't hydrate you.
Those actually speed the loss of fluids in your body.
Oh, wow.
And especially on the alcoholic beverage side can help you to make some maybe poor decisions. So we want people to stay hydrated, avoid the things that aren't going to help you in that process, but let our bodies get acclimated. And then as we start getting into the really hot time of year, and then being extra careful, keeping your physical activities to early in the morning, late in the afternoon when it's not quite so hot, and being aware of signs and symptoms of heat illness, both in yourself and other people.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up because you mentioned, especially for our people that work out in the heat all day long, I think it's super important. Not only do you, keep yourself hydrated, but keep an eye on your fellow coworkers as well. Depending, you may work with heavy equipment and things like that. And if you see those signs of fatigue or exhaustion, it's better to catch it right away. Once you've had it, you're susceptible to it.
Right, as it starts in those early signs, headache, fatigue, maybe some nausea, and if you catch it early, then that first aid of starting to catch up on your fluids, get out of the heat, maybe just in the shade and rest, cool down. Usually, when you start applying that type of first aid, people come around pretty quickly, and what you don't want to have, as you said, you don't want to get too far. It gets into, not just those first signs, but you start getting really, sick, and where it becomes like a 911 emergency situation. Because once you've dealt with a real severe bout of heat illness, you're more susceptible, at least for the rest of the summer, and maybe going farther beyond that. So treat it now. Take it easy, keep out of the heat as much as possible, let your body acclimate, and that's the safe way to go.
Exactly.
In some parts of the country, you'll see these news reports of a heat wave, and like New York City or Chicago. People are dropping all over in the streets
because they're not used to it.
Right, and then we'll get calls like, "Oh, we hear it's going to be 110 in Yuma." Are you? Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a normal thing.
I know. Yeah, it's usually a little warmer than that, but we'll wear our jackets. But they'll expect the same sort of results that are happening in other places back east, where we're acclimated. But during the summer, You get a lot of folks that travel Arizona from other parts of the
They
country,
do.
and to keep that word out there to like, hey, you're not in Kansas anymore.
Definitely not.
Well, I moved here in '92, so I grew up in California where it wasn't as hot. And my stepdad was born and raised here, so he always said, you know, you're acclimated when you're outside and it's 100 degrees, and you're like, hey, it's pretty cool today. He's like, okay, you've been here long enough. You can understand Yuma. Because I remember when I first moved here, it was like when you'd go outside in the daytime, I think it was August, so the humidity was even higher too. It was like opening the stove, the oven when you had been cooking, and just breathing that heat. I was like, oh,
Like a
how do
blow
people
dryer.
do this?
It's like a blow dryer.
That's right. So be prepared. Keep that there's nothing better than just keeping that hydration going and staying hydrated.
And watch out for your elderly and your kids.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times,
Absolutely.
they're playing, they're out and they're moving around, and they aren't paying attention to what they need. I know my kids always are monitoring me because I don't drink a lot of water. And they're like, drink more, drink more. I'm like, okay, I drank some. And when you're outside, I notice too that sometimes if the water's too cold, and you're out in the heat, it just upsets your stomach. So, it doesn't have to be ice cold water. At least if it's same temperature as you are drinking it, you can hydrate too, and it doesn't give you that.
Well, and that brings up two things like at this time of year too. We start putting the cautions out about like kids and pets and vehicles, because when you mentioned about the temperature, we've all grabbed that bottle of water that's been sitting in the car and then gone to take a taste and go, whoa.
That's a little warm.
That's only been in
should have
here 10 minutes.
It's been bubbling, And I've done some tests where we used a candy thermometer on the dash of the car, and it's gone up over 200 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
So literally, and we've also had people do demonstrations of baking.
Oh, not baking. We melted chocolate just to see how fast it would melt.
Yeah, well, that happens.
Almost
no,
instantly.
Actually, it's been demonstrations on baking cookies on the dashboards of cars with the windows rolled out. So we want to be extra careful, as far as pets and children and even adults.
Yeah.
Hey, and you mentioned the elderly. Elderly and young kids, much more susceptible. We don't want them to be sitting in the car. Oh, I'm okay. I'm just waiting out here. Sometimes they're not nearly as aware of how temperatures do get. And as we get into the hotter times of year, when we have a power failure, I think we mentioned something about that there had been a power outage in town. When that kind of thing happens, be aware of the folks in your neighborhood that may not have the ability to say get up and head over to someplace else with that air conditioning. Keep it in mind to check on your neighbors, especially the elderly, that may not have the understanding that this is a very dangerous situation.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with that, let's take a quick break. I think Sergeant Lori Franklin is here, and we'll bring her on in, and then we'll get into some safety tips too about our waterways and things like that. We want to remind you that our show is brought to you by
Classic Accounting, 30 years of experience and knowledge to benefit you. They have 2 locations to serve you in Yuma and the foothills, so call and schedule your appointment, 343-1040.
And Sprague Sports offers training courses, including Arizona CCW, First Shot, Hunter Education, and more. Plus, there's always a gunsmith on duty. You can find them on 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
And Quick Refrigeration, here to ensure your comfort in Yuma's year-round heat. They offer commercial and residential service, and they offer 24-hour emergency service. So getcoolquick.com.
And Advocate Pest and Wildlife Services offers wildlife control like feral cat trapping, snake and skunk relocation, and pigeon extraction. You can give them a call today at 928-343-9149. Message them on Facebook, Instagram, or follow them on Snapchat. We'll be back right after this. All right. Can you grab Lori real
Yes.
quick?
When I leave, I'll leave these with you.
Yeah, please. And that way we can remind people too.
I'll be putting them up on our
Facebook. Good morning.
Facebook page and Twitter.
You look way too comfortable.
That was the first
She's
thing
almost
we
on
did
vacation.
when it was hot out and it was probably 4 o'clock out there.
Yay! How are you? Come on in.
She's like, I'm on vacation mode.
Now, when do you leave?
Tomorrow I fly out.
Are you excited?
I would be too.
Is
We're
this
excited
going
for you.
someplace extraordinary?
Not just Georgia, but my
No, just
grandbaby.
Georgia.
My grandbaby turns 1 on Saturday.
Ah, yes.
I'm I'm excited. I'm excited.
The first one?
Yes,
First ones are
the
special.
only one, yeah. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna drink sweet tea till I bust. And
Stay hydrated. I know it gets hot and humid.
Stay hydrated. Stay
Oh, wait.
hydrated.
you know,
And that's a caffeine tea, so I don't know if I would do
stationed for 12 years
that.
on the coast of North Carolina, and then I come out here. So I've been to the 99 and
Percent
90% humidity,
Sticky hell.
to the 100 and god awful and 60% humidity.
Half a dozen one, six in the other.
I don't know.
I'm
I
going to
don't
tell
like
you.
the sticky. I just,
On a motorcycle in dark clothes.
Did that?
In summer.
Did that for 2 years? Yeah. Got a free ride to the hospital.
Oh,
I remember that.
Stay hydrated. No.
People wouldn't
Well, they've
speak.
been actually. I don't know. I think Georgia might be included in. I know there was over the weekend through almost all the rest of the country. It was in the teens and 20s down
Yeah.
as
there
far as
was,
Louisiana.
it was, what do you say, like
Say, do you have to
50s?
take a jacket?
Yeah, he said it's been like 50, 60.
yeah.
Now, my family up in New York, they're still getting snow.
Yeah.
God love them.
The Midwest. I have
Yeah,
family in Indy,
I
and
see
they're
that.
still getting snow.
They're like, can you believe it's April and we're still talking about snow?
I know we had a
Right.
friend, Canada went back.
Hey.
and they went to a blizzard, so they're like, great. We went from here to a blizzard. She's like, I want to come back.
Well, I mean, all I had to do is look at the.
Punxsutawney
Look at
Phil
the
said.
Yeah. There's a wanted poster out for that guy.
He said,
not everybody's
winter's
friend
not
right
over.
I don't think he's anybody's friend.
I think it's going past 6 weeks even, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
6 weeks would have just taken it to mid-March. So it's more like 8 weeks and it's still snowing. That's that global warming stuff.
You guys ready? Lori, will you pull the microphone?
Ah, if I must.
Yes. Are you ready? Good morning and welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Teresa.
And I'm Janice Ramirez, in for Jennifer Blackwell.
That's right. We are in the studio we have Mike Erfert from the Yuma Fire Department giving us all the details on how to stay hydrated and safe during these summer months. But now we are also joined by Sergeant Lori Franklin from the Yuma Fire Department. Welcome. Welcome back.
Police department.
Sorry, police department. I have both of you in here right now.
It's a Monday, isn't it?
It is a Monday.
It is a Monday.
I couldn't say get cool, and you said police department, fire
All right.
department.
There we go. We're one for one now. Well, we want to welcome you to the studio. You're always welcome in here. And you guys are coming off a pretty busy weekend. I know that out at the fair, I saw quite a bit of Yuma Police Department out there directing traffic and things.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic control going on out there. It was a lot of cars. A lot of people. It still amazes me that when you put barricades up and you have vehicles with flashing red and blues that are LED anymore,
Yeah.
so they're bright, very bright, and people still don't pay attention. They go around, they speed by. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it. It's just kind of mind-boggling that you still think it's okay to go down a road that's blocked off. And
Well,
stuff.
you know, I have to say, I think they did a very, very good job. We had parking passes, so we would go in the Pacific Avenue entrance, and every day you saw the Yuma Police Department out there, and they did a very good job at controlling traffic, because there was a time where you have so many cars trying to go one way and some trying to turn and people trying to cross the street. So I have to say kudos to them, because I know that they were working hard and they kept everyone safe right there, you know, as best as they could.
Right, yeah, thank you. And it's, you know, the two biggest traffic controls we have are Midnight at the Oasis and then the Fair. So it's just a lot of people trying to get to the same destination and then trying to get out all at the same time.
Yeah.
So, you know, patience is a virtue, I guess.
Was it a fairly uneventful weekend for you guys?
Nothing big and out of the ordinary. Just busy for the guys that were working. Yeah.
Good. Well, I know that you guys have had some recognitions late this past. Was it last week that you had your award ceremony for your internal staff and your Officer of the Year?
Yeah, we had the last weekend it was our awards banquet. It's, you know, we have people that do great jobs, but we have some that kind of go above and beyond, and it's always nice to recognize them and let them know that they're appreciated. So we have our awards banquet, and we did Officer of the Year, Supervisor of the Year, Detective of the Year, Civilian Supervisor of the Year, and then Civilian of the Year. And then multiple other awards for like units and other individuals.
That's, you know what, and so much goes on behind the scenes that we don't see every day. You know, isn't it dispatcher week? I want to say
Yes.
it
I
is,
thought Jen
right?
said this week was, yeah.
See, all of the, and that's got to be a hard job to do. So kudos to them as well, because I couldn't see myself trying to handle those situations as well as they do.
Well, and you need all those aspects to make everything else work.
Exactly.
Everybody has to do their job effectively and efficiently to make sure that every chain of it is going quickly and safely, so they can get out to these calls. They can know where to go. They can know it's the right address. They can know and get there to help people. One thing that aggravates me to death is when I'm on the road and I see police coming behind me or ambulance coming behind me with their sirens going, and people don't stop.
Hey, don't you have something?
What's
I was
worse
gonna say,
is
you have
when
something coming out about that, don't you?
what's worse is when people just stop.
Yeah, it's like you can't just stop in every lane.
It's-
you just need to
it's,
get over so they can get past.
Yeah, I mean, in Arizona, you are supposed to pull all the way to
Yeah,
the
to the
right
right way.
and then stop. And our officers, especially coming up 16th Street, you got all those lanes of traffic now, and they're running lights and sirens and trying to get around,
And they'll have to
people
go
just
opposite
stop.
directions. Oh,
Yeah, don't block
They
the
just
intersections.
But when you see an officer going far left into oncoming traffic, that's because that's what we have to do. We don't go right around unless there is absolutely no other way to get around. But we're not running license sirens because it's fun. We're running it because we need to get to a call. And it's not like TV where, oh my gosh, they're going to go talk to a witness. Woo, woo, woo. We don't do that. We have to have specific guidelines on when we can run code and when we can't. So if they're running code to something, it's something pretty serious.
I always tell my kids as they were starting to drive, or because they're younger drivers, if you guys see it, put yourself in the other situation. And they're like, what do you mean, Mom? I said, what if it was a call that they needed to go to Grandma's house and somebody was blocking traffic and they couldn't get to Grandma's house to help them? Or what if they needed to come save, like say I got in an accident and they were trying to come help me? You'd want people to get out of the way so you could get to your loved ones quicker, right? So that's how I try to put it into their brain too. Don't just think of it, I have to pull over and now I've lost like 3 minutes of my day on my way to get somewhere. Look at it as, hey, look what you've saved in those 3 minutes.
Well, and if you, once you've pulled over successfully, give it a moment before you go back into traffic.
Don't
'cause
try
that
and
one-
follow them.
Well, just because that one emergency vehicle has passed by, if you've got a car crash, you're likely going to have at least 2 fire vehicles and probably 2 police vehicles running lights and sirens. So, keep an eye out and be careful. Look twice before you head back out into traffic.
I think that's a great point. Since we have both of you here, and we were talking summer safety, and we started to touch on things like making sure that you have your pets not in vehicles when you go inside, and things like that. And I think there's a lot of wrong information out there when it comes to that. If they find a pet in the vehicle, what they can and cannot do. When should we call the fire department? Should we call 911? Let's kind of clarify that just a little bit, because we don't necessarily want somebody going in and breaking a window and thinking they're not going to get in trouble.
Well, yeah, absolutely call 911. Our dispatch center is both fire side and police side, so it's one big dispatch center. So whichever the call is coming in, you will be sent to either the fire side dispatcher or the police side dispatcher, but they're all able to take calls for service. Yeah, if you see an animal that's in distress, call us. Don't just take it upon yourself to break the window.
They can call 911?
It's an emergency situation. If it's not, if they're just panting, but they just look uncomfortable, don't call 911. Use the non-emergency number.
Yeah, it's the December calls. It's 60 degrees outside. The animal is really nice and comfortable in the car. Yeah, that's not the same thing.
Right, there is a difference.
And you want to hit the children left alone.
That's
vehicles.
different. That is way different.
Any time of the year.
Yeah, I don't get it, but again, my kids
It
are older
happens.
now, but
It happens.
it does happen. anything that you can do to alert yourself that your child is in the back seat, be it put your purse in the back seat, put your cell phone in the back seat. Nobody wants to go anywhere without that. Anything you can do to remind yourself that you need to go back there. It's a killer, and it gets so hot so quick in this town in the summertime, and even right now it's getting up in the 90s, so it's going to take a split second and a blink eye for it to get to over 100 degrees. So do what you need to do, but set something up to tell yourself that there's a child in the back seat that you need to make sure that you get out of there. It's a tragedy.
And I like what Mike said, and that's all year long. If there is a child left in a vehicle like that, call 911.
Yeah, any time of the year. Any time of the year. That's a big difference.
It's not just the heat issue too; it's a safety issue.
Right.
A child, someone could go into that car. That car could get stolen. That child could get out of that seat and put it into gear. That could cause a lot of problems. Just don't do it.
You saw nationally in the 90s there was this big spike in a number of we call hyperthermia deaths, and it came along with as the vehicles with the passenger airbags came into play, and quickly it was like, oh, don't have kids in the front seat. Always have those car seats in the back seat, and that's when out of sight, out of mind kicked in, especially for new parents.
Yeah.
Exactly what Lori said about put a purse or a cell phone or something that you're used to not like living without goes in back. Another one is keeping a teddy bear in the car seat. And when the child goes in the car seat, move the teddy bear to the front seat.
Oh, that's
so
a
that
good idea.
becomes a
visual reminder.
Reminder that way. And also those car seats, the metal fasteners,
Hot.
even the
It's
plastic,
hot, yeah.
you can actually cause burns from those if you're not careful. So they've got different type of fabric covers for them, but test them before you put that on a child. The child just not being rowdy and causing trouble because they're struggling now that you put them in the seat. It could be that seat is ridiculously hot, so check those things before you do that. That's another aspect of heat emergencies in vehicles.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk some water safety, both riverside, what you can and cannot do in the river, and how to stay safe while you're trying to stay cool during the summer. We'll be back right after this. That was a quick catch on your phone there.
That's my ninja skills going on. I'll tell you what.
And yours is easy. Janice's, when hers goes off that day, we were trying to turn it off. I could not. I was like, oh my goodness, why? Because normally, like on mine, you just squeeze the side and it turns
it off.
Janice was.
It was.
But at least it wasn't anything embarrassing. Some people's got some
Janice,
unusual
some good ringtones.
Janice has
My
good
sisters. It says, it starts singing. It's that chicken. It says, I'm about to kick somebody's. And that's my one sister. And I'm like, oh, I don't have that in public.
How funny! You got to think about those things.
When my mom was still married, my stepdad, his was like, hey, the A word's on the line, because they were arguing or whatever at that time. And he was having a problem with his calls not going through, and she didn't even think about it. She's like, well, I don't know, call mine and see if it's finally going through. And so it was right there, and he's all, oh, hilarious. And he walked away. I was like, oh, busted.
Ouch.
Yeah, mine was the song that I despise that we play all the time.
I took it off. I quit
Thank
Bob
you.
Marley for
I
you.
know. I call her something, and I was like, tell me that's not what my ringer is. And it was.
I have one from my ex-husband. That's the funny one.
Yeah.
He's on the line. Don't answer it. Danger, danger. Stay away.
We're going to come back with like 7 minutes-ish.
7? Oh, jeez.
So hit.
River safety.
Yeah.
No jumping from bridge.
No jumping.
Oh my goodness.
I was down there. We rode our bikes down there, and I'm like,
They're going to continue. They're always going to do it. That's the sad part about it. It's
Can they get?
I
Isn't it
wouldn't.
trespassing?
yeah, because it's railroad property.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
But then you got even worse. You got the guys that go up on the I-8 bridge and they jump over the I-8 bridge.
Are you
Are you
kidding me?
serious?
For funsies?
Well, apparently.
Well, no, I mean,
They weren't taken up there with cement shoes.
Well, we have had some suicides that way.
Well, yeah, no, they. And, well, I remember back when my son was in high school, one of his friends had done it. They videotaped it, and he didn't quite make the water. I think he broke an ankle.
That's all he broke. He's lucky.
But there's,
Wait a minute, I think I know this kid. I think it was maybe about I don't know.
I just
8
think
years
of
it
ago.
was about 10 years ago.
spinal cord compression.
Yeah, landed in the Thule.
Oh, dear
Yuma
Lord.
High kid?
Yeah.
I think we know, yeah.
So note to self, don't say kids used to jump off the roof into the pool.
Yeah, I mean,
Some
Boys, I mean,
some
boys are boys
homes
and they
have the
do
decks
silly
that kind
things.
of say overlook it
Don't
on
say that
purpose.
because I remember the
I don't
national
condone
attention,
it.
National attention. We had remember the woman that jumped off the bridge with her 6-year-old,
oh, gosh,
and this was
yes.
for fun.
Oh, yeah.
And
oh,
she
yeah.
ended up with a
Idiotic.
trip to Yuma County Jail.
Yeah, absolutely. Child endangerment. Hello.
Weekend pass.
It's like, of course, there was there was
But they don't think.
substance abuse involved in that.
Okay, let's go.
Oh,
back.
dear Lord.
Yeah.
Here we go. Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I am Teresa.
And this is Janice Ramirez.
Janice is filling in for Jennifer Blackwell. She will be back tomorrow. We want to say good morning and thank you to all of our viewers on our FTS Automotive Facebook Live feed. If you do not currently follow us on Facebook Live, we encourage you to do so. It's just a way to get a behind the scenes of what goes on when Z93 Outlaw Country and MonsterMediaYuma.com all go to commercial break. Today in Yuma stays live the entire hour. Plus, you get a little behind the scenes of what we talk about. Like we were having some conversation here that's going to lead right into what we're going to talk about right now. River pool safety. I know that with the temperatures getting super high here, we look towards the river, Colorado River and pool to stay cool. So
Exactly.
let's go to the river first because I know that we've already had some instances at the river.
Well, for one, we have had one water rescue. That was a case of a family visiting from out of town. They had been biking on the multi-use paths down by the Ocean Bridge. It was warm. I mean, maybe not warm for us. They were from San Diego, and the kids, an 8-year-old and 11-year-old, went wading in the water, and they hit a drop off, went down. The grandfather and a bystander went to help, and the grandfather then got into trouble, and we got the call of someone struggling in the water and going down. The response, fortunately, they got there, got into the water rescue stuff, tethered up, went over, were able to get him out. There was a happy ending to that story.
Thank goodness.
But over the years, there have been a lot of unhappy endings, and it comes down to when you're dealing with, and Yuma has some pretty great water recreation that we get we forget about, but with that becomes a need for an increased caution and an awareness, understanding a natural body of water. The depths change, water conditions, you might not be able to see the bottom, you don't know what's in there, and with the drop-offs and the currents and the channels, and then that's without even getting into the canals and the stuff that can be in the, unless you've seen one of those with the water down, the stuff that's in there is just amazing. With canals, it's not just a matter of staying out of there for safety's sake. It's you don't go in there. It's trespassing. It's against the law to be in those. But on the water, being aware of your situations and your swimming abilities. That where folks get into trouble is they're thinking, well, I'm okay wading. Well, you can be wading, and then in 2 steps you can be over your head.
Exactly.
And that has been the lead in to a number of fatalities over the years. You've got to be aware of that, and that the river is no babysitter.
No.
Every once in a while you get down there and you see that kids walking around unsupervised, and that's the number one thing to prevent drowning, especially amongst children, is adult supervision. And it's not just kind of sort of supervision. It's
Or
consistent.
Or what you see too is you see like 12-year-olds watching the younger ones or 11-year-olds. No, that's not an adult.
No.
That's not an adult. So it needs to be an adult eyes on them at all times.
Responsible adult supervision. Somebody that's not taking in any adult beverages or anything like that.
And real quick, we are getting close to the top of the hour right now, but I wanted to touch on, because I see it all the time, the swinging from the rope underneath the bridge. I was talking to Lori about it, and it's trespassing.
It is. It's railroad property up there. So yes, you are trespassing, and the rope keeps getting cut down, and it keeps coming back up, and it gets cut down and comes back up. But straight out, it is trespassing. So if you're up there trying to hang the rope or you're swinging from the rope, that is trespassing. But where they have the rope is at the deeper section of the river, which, like Mike says, comes to the deep section you don't know about, and you've got the currents underneath there, which does, suck people down. And
plus you don't know
unfortunately,
if
we lose people.
You don't know the regulation of how much water they let out that day either, so it
Right.
changes from day to day.
Right.
It does.
Don't do it. It's idiotic.
Well, we have a lot of information that was shared today. So if you are following on Facebook Live, hit the share button. Let everybody know, summer is coming, and we want to keep everyone safe out there. We want to thank Mike Erfert from the Yuma Fire Department and Sergeant Lori Franklin from the Yuma Police Department for coming in and sharing all of this great information with us. Again, you guys stay safe out there. On tomorrow's show, we have Allison coming from AWC, and we also have Esther Merkel coming from the Yuma Civic Center. So tune in tomorrow. Jennifer will be back. And
She'll be back. We're going to go escape and take our Lotus Day Spa selfie outside.
Let's do it. KCYK Yuma and KLJZ Yuma.
Have a great day, guys.